Hello, I have a fan. But it's not any fan. It's a desktop fan. Can you hear it? It has 3 speeds. The third speed is turbo mode. Does that make it an Xbox? So yeah, the Xbox ROG Ally X is in the hands of reviewers, and review scores are promising. So in spite of the intro, this is not a critique or criticism on the hardware itself. I think it's pretty darn impressive. No, what this is an analysis of the psychology surrounding the Xbox ROG Ally X. If you like this sort of thing, like, subscribe, hit notification, and all that good stuff. Welcome back to another Foxy Games UK News video, and we've got some interesting tidbits in the really celebratory video for the launch of really what is now the most powerful PC handheld for the money. So we've also got some insight in what the social media crowd thinks of this thing, you know, reviewers, the media at large, and everyday gamers. And TheVerge.com has really weighed in on this as to whether this really is an Xbox or not. I think it's obvious by now, right? It's a handheld PC with Xbox functionality. So let's have a look at what we're dealing with here in terms of the psyche, the psychology, using the PC handheld as some kind of win against PlayStation gamers by demonstrating first-party PlayStation to PC ports on the handheld, saying it must hurt to see PlayStation games running on Xbox, blah blah blah. So yeah, let's look at what The Verge has to say first and foremost. All links are available in the video's description. Xbox Ally and the Xbox Ally X review. This is not an Xbox. Microsoft's first Xbox handhelds are shipping and not fully baked. So what does the Xbox mean? Some might say it's only to refer to a box-shaped Microsoft game machine. Others will argue it's a collection of Xbox native titles like Halo, Gears, Forza and Fable. Most would probably agree it's a game console experience, a way to kick back and easily play the latest games without thinking too much. Press the power button, play, press it again to pause. So this 7-inch Xbox Ally and Xbox Ally X gaming handheld or handhelds go on sale very soon. I believe it's today or tomorrow, but they don't meet that bar. The cheaper one doesn't even come close. They run Windows 11 and they never let you forget it. Not during their lengthy setup process, not when you're trying to navigate their menus, and certainly not when you want the latest games to just work. They also don't play Xbox games designed for an Xbox console, only Xbox games ported to PC. So when Grand Theft Auto 6 comes out next May without a PC version, you certainly won't be able to play it on this device. Not unless you're streaming from the cloud, which kind of defeats the point of spending $1,000+ on the hardware. But to be fair, no Windows handheld ever met the bar, and the $1,000 Xbox Ally X is better than many, but these first Xbox handhelds were supposed to be Microsoft's answer to the Steam Deck and Nintendo Switch. They were supposed to combine, well, the best of Xbox and Windows together by reimagining Microsoft's operating system. Now, we were told the new Xbox Full Screen Experience, or FSE, isn't just surface level changes. So why does it look so much like lipstick on Windows with a sluggish UI that feels designed for a mouse? Why are Microsoft and Asus shipping these handhelds today when they're buggy and clearly not ready for launch? Ah, the good old updates, system firmware updates. Don't you just love them? But what's more interesting is the white $600 Xbox Ally and the black $1,000 Xbox Ally X officially arriving on October 16th, which is today. Both are the same size, shape and thickness, and they weigh roughly the same 1.5 pounds. Now on paper, the only difference between the Xbox Ally X and Xbox Ally are the processor. Z2 Extreme versus the Z2A. Storage 1TB versus 512GB. Looks like the Xbox Series X versus the Xbox Series S all over again, doesn't it? And the memory, 24GB impressively, and then 16GB for the cheaper model. Battery 80W versus 60W, and whether you get the impulse triggers, they both supposedly ship with the same Xbox full screen experience FSE, which should let you boot into desktop-less Windows 11 that suppresses startup apps and saves memory, and lets you navigate by gamepad controls instead of requiring you to touch the screen or put your mouse into your Xbox. So Xbox Steam and titles from other stores will really be an all-in-one handy interface, with the desktop still a click away if you want it. Now in reality, it seems that Microsoft and Asus didn't actually ship their units to stores with that version of Windows installed, or necessary BIOS updates, graphics drivers, and more. Reviewers like me spent hours and multiple reboots waiting for those updates to install before we could even play a single game, even after I was done. I still couldn't navigate Windows without some smudging of the touchscreen and fighting with the gamepad controls. Now I want to say something nice about the Xbox Ally and Ally X before we continue to amuse and warn you about their failings. So let's start with these. Despite weighing around 1.5 pounds, both Allies pleasingly comfortable to hold. The ROG facing speakers might be the best that you've heard on a handheld, loud, clear, and with lots of stereo separation. And you'll love that Asus continues to ship every Ally with a piece of cardboard padding that doubles as an excellent stand that you can totally recycle. Now the fans spin up more than you'd like, but the grips are well isolated. And while you're a little tired of Asus putting a 7-inch screen into what feels like an 8-inch handheld with dramatically oversized bezels compared to rivals, you can't really fault it for picking the same 7-inch 1080p 500 nit 120Hz variable refresh rate display it used for really the past 3 years to make Ally games feel smooth. It just doesn't feel like a flagship screen anymore, not after the Steam Deck OLED, MSI Claw 8, and especially the incredible screen in the much pricier Legion Go 2. But the Xbox Ally X and its AMD Ryzen Z2 Extreme chip, extra memory, and that big 80Wh battery is quite serviceable in the games that you'll want to play. You can get 2 hours of smooth whip cracking and Nazi punching in Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, and one of the most intensive games on the PC if you're willing to play at low settings with AMD's FSR balance upscaling, which up-reses and the image to 1080p. Now parrying foes in Clair Obscur Expedition 33 was no trouble on the XeSS upscaled 900p resolution, where you get about 2 hours and a half at 70 FPS. You can actually get 8 hours from the least intensive games like Balatro, around 6 in Hollow Knight, Silksong, and around 4 in medium weight games like Blueprints by lowering the chip's TDP. Also of note that when you press the power button on the Xbox Ally X to put it to sleep, it doesn't wake itself up. Not in a bag, not on a table, not when you wiggle the joystick, shake it, or press all of its buttons, which I suppose is a good thing. And you can pause Indiana Jones by pressing the power button. 9 hours later, the game was exactly where you leave off. You put it to sleep again, 38 hours later you pick up, play exactly where you left off. Sounds like the Switch, doesn't it? Nintendo Switch. Unfortunately though, you can't always trust it to wake. Twice in a row it stayed in a coma until you had to hard reset the system, losing game progress. You certainly can't trust the white $600 Xbox Ally to stay asleep at all, which is bad. That's terrible, right? It's woken up multiple times and just drained the battery. Is it worth the price? Is it worth the price? It looks like they've launched the system totally unready for market, but those who have played it have said that, it handles games fairly well. And then you've got others comparing the resolution of certain games to Nintendo Switch and saying it really falls below par for the money you're spending on this thing. It's let's not forget, it's $1,000 US. it's obviously a very capable piece of hardware. Remember, it's a portable device, so you can't compare it to a system that you plug into your TV or monitor, as in a console or even a mid-range desktop PC. But I think this is close to mid-range in power in terms of its portability and everything else. And you probably get a bit more power if you dock it, maybe like the Switch. But let's be clear, Xbox ROG Ally X may be the current handheld king, at least in terms of the pricing and raw power. Yes, it's truly impressive. However, those posting Spider-Man or any other PlayStation to PC port running on the device does not make it an Xbox. It cannot even play native Xbox games. So why not just enjoy the product and stop the cap?